Hi guys, it's Emily from Nobel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my February wrap-up part 2. Now, we knew I would read less books in February than I did in January. I only read 21, but that is not bad considering we are about 2 days less in the month than other months. And we also had the big thing, which was I had two or 3 days where I wasn't reading because of my operation. So, 21 books. I'm not killing myself about. I'm not beating myself up about it. I'm thinking, do you know what? I can do this. And let's face it, I know I can. Sorry guys, you're seeing the cushion because at the moment I'm still in quite a bit of pain. So I'm trying to film this and be a bit more like, see how I can do this? Charlotte, I'm watching you. I'm trying to listen to her hints about how she films. Anyway, let's get down to it. I've decided I'm going to do a few more stats now. I'm going to start doing them. I've got to actually tick some boxes off at the end of this video and work out what I've been doing. But so I thought I'd get on with it and tell you some figures about what I'm doing. Tia, by the way, this is your inspiration. I thought I really wanted to try and get this done a bit more. So I've read a total of 2 chick lits. Let's go. I'm going to go from the lowest numbers down. So I've only read 1 non-fiction. I've read a graphic novel, so that's a big tick for me. I only read 1 non-fiction. Well, after, let's face it, March was a bit of a case of I read loads, so can't remember how many I'm reading. Hopefully I'll read some more in March, or my stats is going to go right down. I read 2 fiction/contemporary. They're not going to count as the other, so they're not chick lit. So I don't want to put fiction and contemporary in the same genres area as chick lit. So I'm going to start categorising those ones together. Then 3 YA in middle grade. Again, I'm going to count them together. 3 mystery and thrillers. Yes, get in there. I'm going to make you proud of me, Nicole, and Victoria, and Simone. So, all of you. 4, and then, but the most amount of books I read were 4 historical fiction and 4 classics. Some of these classics are classics that are children's classics, but they are still classics. That is the area that I'm loving the most. And I kind of, Katie, I heard you watch these videos. Katie from Books and Things watches my videos. How cool is that? I think, no, but I'm really loving classics and I certainly want to read a lot more of them this month. So that's been quite enjoyable. I have DNF'd 1 book, which I'll show you at the start. And I read a total of 7,206 pages. I'm quite happy with that. I love counting it. Oh my goodness. I am going to show you guys. Look at this little journal. Kaz, I hope you're liking this. I thought I'd be a bit more, I'm not as artistic as Kaz, but I've got my little Hogwarts journal, which I'll show you that I'm starting off doing. So I'll show you the January ones as well. So I've got my month, I've got my genre, I've got my head, I've got my number of pages and star ratings. I don't count my DNFs in this, and I don't count my audiobook, so this is just pretty rough, but I still love doing it. Anyway, should I get on and tell you what I've read and talk about them? So the first DNF book, I'm sorry, my friend's pick for this was my friend's pick for the month, and I'm gutted. I read it just before the operation and I couldn't get into it. This is The Improbability of Love by Hannah Rothschild. Julie gave it to me and I really wanted to like it. I wanted it. It was kind of historical fiction apparently. But when lovelorn Annie McD stumbles across a dirty painting in a junk shop while looking for a present, for an unsuitable man, she has no idea what she's discovered. And it's to do with that London art world. I got in about 20 pages into it. I didn't like it. I'm going to be honest. I didn't like it. Apparently the painting was talking. Couldn't get into it. And I was supposed to start reading it again after the operation. And I thought, you know what, I'm not in the right place for it. And I don't think it's for me. I don't know why. I'm trying to be a bit better at DNFing books. But I really couldn't get into it. So, sorry, I did DNF it. It's going to the charity shop. I hope someone else likes it. Now, the next one I'm gutted about was probably my worst book of the month. And it is my only 2-star rating. I kind of put it as 2.5 stars. But I think that's because I was pushing myself. It's The Horse and the Boar by Narnia. I read it in the wrong order. So this should have been the 3rd book in the series out of the 7. So I know I read it in the wrong order. But I didn't like it. It was set in... So it's like a boy that's travelling across the different areas. So you do get a bit of Narnia in it. You do get a bit of... I'm trying to remember the Queen. So you get... Lucy's in it a little bit. Susan's in it a bit. Edmund's in it. Peter's not in it. Aslan's in it briefly. Very, very briefly. So it's kind of interlinked with those. So it is interlinked with characters that we know and love. But it's not very much. And also... It was a really weird story. I can't even... Do you know what? It comes down to it. I only finished it not long ago, and I can't even tell you it was that... Not that. Nothing special. I'm keeping it because it's a beautiful copy that Chris bought me, and I think Mia might like it. Tell you what, it's the worst one out of the series. I think... I'm really hoping I'm going to like The Last Battle. I loved the first one. I loved the second one. Loved Prince Caspian. Loved all the film ones. And I loved, like I said, The Magician's Nephew was brilliant. This one I really didn't like. Yeah, not touching it again. Hopefully Mia will like it. And I'm keeping it because it's part of a series. Don't know about you guys. I cannot throw books if they're in the series away. Can't do it. Then the next one is... I remember I didn't do it in the right order. Sorry about this, guys. I thought I'm trying to, like I said, don't normally like leaning like this. This is a 3-star book. It's The Workhouse Orphans. It was good. I'm glad I read it. I think it was one of the books that were just on my shelf that I wanted to read. It's historical fiction, so it's set really at the start of the 1900s. I think it's even started up in 18 something or another. That's the late 1800s, early 1900s. So life has been hard, tough with May and Gus Lavender. Their father went away to sea, never to return. Now their mother has fallen victim to typhus sweeping through Liverpool. Regarded as orphans by all the authorities, their siblings are sent to the workhouse. And then you get their 2 journeys. So they end up getting separated, but they want to be together. Most of this book is set on May's storyline, but you do get Gus's as well, which I found it was quite interesting. Some of it was quite predictable because you obviously understand that the way things were back then. I'm not saying it was horrible. There's some bits that are really traumatic. Some bits I found really hard. It was an alright story. It was nothing... It was very much like you kind of expect about the workhouse. And it was hard-hitting, don't get me wrong. And I would never discount anything that happened back then. But some of it was predictable. Some of it you just thought, I'm getting bored. I was just bored. It was alright. It was like I said, 3-star to me is alright. It's just not one that I'm going to pick up again. Not one I'm necessarily going to look for this author again. It was alright. It was just alright. So, another one to go in the charity shop pile. The next one was a chick lit book. It was 3.5 stars because it did make me smile. I read it really quickly. Lucy Dillon is a chick lit author that makes me smile. It really was a lovable book. But again, it was so typical chick lit. I could predict so many of the twists, so much of what was going to happen in this book. It was so predictable. It was unbelievable. Juliet's been in hiding because her husband died. So the main character... husband has died, not very long ago in this, and her mother Diana's run out of advice, so she gets her to get Juliet to walk her dog, and that becomes a little bit of a business. You can kind of predict who she's going to fall in love with. I'm not even going to say the names because there's a bloke that she nearly gets with, and whether they're going to end up together, I'm not going to tell you, but you can kind of predict who's the one that she's meant to be with. It's lovely, and there's also I do like the fact that they've got her sister's storyline, but again that was predictable. Her sister's just had a kid, gone back to work too soon, had a bit of an affair, been a bit naughty. You know that what's going to happen in the end. You kind of predict it. It was good. It was cosy. It was chick lit. 3.5 stars, but it's 3/3.5. I might even go back down to 3 because it was so predictable. But I read it within about a day or so, even though it was quite long. I read it within about a day because it was just so easy and so cosy. Now the next one is Fractured by Danny Atkins. Now Charlotte's apparently picked this up, and Charlotte's got it on a shelf. Charlotte, you might like it. It was 3.5 stars. So you kind of get a split timeline. So the night of the accident, everything changed. Now 5 years on, Rachel's life is crumbling. She's alone in a tiny flat, working for a dead-end job. She'd give anything to turn back the clock, and then something happens, and then she's on a different timeline. So the night that it turns out the accident was a lucky escape and she got through it, and she her life is everything it's supposed to be, but she remembers the old life, she remembers the other life. And you kind of think, well, how does that connect? You do have a few twists and turns. There are some bits that you don't expect. There were some twists and turns, which this should definitely be 3.5 because it was better than the other one. But again, you kind of know who the goodie is, the nice guy is, who the naughty guy is. You know who she's meant to be with in the end. You kind of know, but then the ending broke my heart. I can't even tell you it because it really tells you the ending, but it literally broke me. So be warned, if this is predictable, this is Fractured. It's about how one event can change your whole life. Don't I know that with my car accident? Don't I know that with all the other stuff that's happened to me? I've had different things that have changed the way my life would be. But let's face it, every decision we make is going to have a consequence. It's making the best of what you got. But yeah, there's that bit. I think the car accident bit was a bit that kicked me a bit because of what's happened to me. Split timeline bit was a bit different. You kind of got a bit lost. It was all right. Danny Atkins is all right. I think for me, she's an author that, with the split timelines thing, I think she's done that in 2 books. And it's all right. I would definitely probably buy her. I would probably do a charity shop. I don't think I'd buy any of her books brand new. And the same with Lucy Dillon. I'll get them from charity shops, but I won't necessarily get them brand new. Whereas the other one, the other author, Holly Green, I don't necessarily think I'm going to go for her again. So they're all sort of 3.5 stars. They're okay. They're going back to charity shops. That's fine. That's gone. Now this is a book that I'm not sure if I'm going to keep or not. This is now I go into my 4-star ratings. Yes, I read this with one of my best friends in the world, Simone. I've only read it with her. She's rated it 5. I've rated it 4 because it did take me a bit of time to get into. Whereas I know that one of my lovely friends on here, Tanya from A Sampler Girl, she didn't like this. My sister Charlie was again a bit of a hish-pish. She was a bit of a hish-pish. For me, it took a bit of time to get into. The little fires everywhere. They start off with a fire at the start, and then you go back in time. So there's a fire that happens at the Richardson house, and you start off with that, and there's like the 4 Richardson kids. 3 of them are accountable, 1 of them's not there. And then you go back in time, and where you meet a mother and a daughter, Mia Warren and her daughter Pearl, and you meet them at the start, and then you go back to the start, like I said, and they come into their lives. This is a bit about a girl who is supposed to be sort of like adopted, and people think is she custody battle? Yeah. So her adopted mum, obviously the adopted parents want to keep the little baby, and then there's the mum's birth mother who regrets giving her up, and there is a bit about the custody battle in there, which ties alongside the storylines with Mia Warren and her daughter, and the 4 Richardson children and their parents. So there's all those storylines interlinked. I think the little fires is the fires within us, our own battles, and the 4 children, the Richardson children, are again very different. So you've got quite a lot of information, and it's linking it all together. I liked it in the end. It took me a bit of time to get into. To me, the ending wasn't necessarily... It didn't finish the way... It kind of didn't tie up everything in the way I like. I like books to be tied up unless they're going to be turning into a sequel, because I like to know what the hell happened, and I didn't in the end. So it was 4/4.5. I don't know whether I'm going to keep this or not, because Simone loved it. I've got another Celestine book in my books that I need to be read this year, but I can't decide whether I'm going to keep it or not, because it was quite good, but not 100%. So I don't know. I really don't know about this. Now, the next one is one that I'm giving back to Charlie. It was a middle grade book, which I should have saved for middle grade March, but I was stupid and I didn't. The Boy at the Back of the Class. This won awards, I believe. It's about, there used to be an empty sick chair at the back of my class, but now a new boy, Ahmed, is sitting in it. He's 9 years old, just like me, but he's very strange, and he's a refugee, and it's about refugees coming in. There's a bit about bullying in this. It's told from a nine-year-old's perspective. It's totally a middle grade book, so if you're reading it along that way, it is good. I'm not decrying. It's being 4 stars. It is still a good book, but it's a kid's book, and it's good. And it does tackle quite a lot of things. It's a really good book. So if you're looking for a book for middle grade March, actually pick this up, because it is really, really good. And it really does tackle bullying, refugees, asylum, racism, I think. It tackles quite a few issues in a middle grade way, which is really good. So definitely, I'm glad Charlie lent this to me. I definitely want to borrow and read more. Can't wait for all my middle grade March books that I'm reading this month. Now, the next one is an extra one. I picked it up from the library because I thought I needed to, and it's an extra books to read. It's a Harriet Evans book. I've read 2 of her other books. I've read Place Grass and A Butterfly Summer. I bought one of her books, so I can't wait to read it. This is historical fiction. It's sort of set in around about 1918. To millions who've queued up to see it, The Garden of the Lost and Found is an exquisite painting of childhood innocence. To Liddy, whose children play in this painting, it's a portrait to all she's lost. For her great-granddaughter, Juliet, it's an inheritance of secrets that she must try to understand. So you have 2 timelines. You have 2 effective main women's stories, which is Liddy, her great-granddaughter, Juliet, But then you also hear about Liddy's. There's some other leading ladies in this. It's really interesting. But then you also hear about Juliet's daughter and her child. Juliet's got 3 kids, and Juliet's the present day one. She's got 3 kids. She's going through a divorce, real hard times. That happens quite early on. You hear about that, so I'm not gonna big spoiler. And then you hear about Juliet's stories, and you hear about them going between the past and the future. And I found it really interesting. If you like historical fictions, if you like dual timelines, this is a really good book. And I definitely think this author's brilliant. My only thing is, it's very similar to A Butterfly Summer. So her books seem to be quite similar. I'm intrigued to see if the new book that I've got of hers is like it, and if they're all dual timelines. If they are, you never know. I don't know. But it's a really good book. I love historical fiction. Now the next one is another 4 stars. I'm on 15 minutes already, so look at my copy of it. I've got displayed edges. This is getting kept. 7 Deaths of Evelyn Cardcastle. This is 4 stars. To me, if anything, it's gone up to 4.5. I really enjoyed this. I buddy read this with Gaia, Berna from Bella's Vickers Adventures, and the lovely Charlotte. Charlotte didn't like it as much as me and Gaia and Berna did. We all loved it. I think I was not as loving it as much as the other 2, but I didn't dislike it like Charlotte did. I'm so keeping this. I don't know where on my shelves it's going to go, but I'm so keeping it. It's one I think I'm going to need to reread. It's the 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. So you go... So she's died, and you get this guy who's in... Aidan Bishop is trying... It's been too late to save her. So she's been murdered hundreds of times. Aidan Bishop is too late to save her. The only way to break this cycle is to identify Evelyn's killer. But each time he wakes up... Every time the day begins again, Aidan wakes up in the body of a different guest. But he doesn't stay necessarily in the same guest's body each day. Sometimes he goes back to other sort of guests, which is quite confusing in some ways. There is a bit of mix and match. It's not 5 star. The ending's completely crap in my opinion. The ending does not, it confused the bejeebers out of me. But it's good enough that I'm going to keep it, because I found I got a bit lost at times, and I think if I reread it, it would be really good. Definitely one to read. If you like mysteries, it's definitely a mystery. But the splitting things for different days and stuff, it gets a bit confusing. I think I'm keeping it mainly because of that, though. Not the best reason to keep a book. Now, to speed up a little bit. Next one is The Sixshooter Queens by Catherine of Aragon. This is a mixture of fiction and non-fiction. So there are sort of some bits where she's not told, but this is basically Catherine of Aragon's story. She's the first queen of King Henry VIII, and I love this book. It was 4 stars. It's historical fiction. It's brilliant. So far I've got the next 2. I want to collect the whole series. Obviously Julie loves it, and then we've also got my lovely friend Abby from Abby Mac Reads. She's really loving this series. I loved it. I love getting the basics behind Catherine of Aragon. It's brilliant. Literally love it. I'm really glad I read that, but I've got it gutted. I've got to use that back to the library. I think I'm going to try and look for my own copy of that. Now I go into my only 2 5 stars of the month. February, in my opinion, was crap with books. I've only had 2 5 stars this second bit, and I don't think I've got many in the first half. So to me, 4 stars, 3 stars. It's been all right. Not been a great month. So, but I'm going to end on a high. Second book in the Doris series by the lovely Charlie from Charles Heathcote. I love him. He's my friend. Yes, I'm a gushy, soppy kit. I love the Doris series. The second book is even better than the first. It's brilliant. Doris, you're meeting some other people. So she's now got another battle with Pandora O'Malley for the position of chairwoman in the HI, in the Women's Institute. She's got a new campaign. It brings up... She has... The flu comes in her way, would-be elves, bake sale, but we meet a girl in this. Oh my goodness, we meet a girl I absolutely love that she takes under her wing, Erin. Oh my god, she takes this girl under her wing, and the way Doris is in this book, I love her. You see a softer side, you see the feisty, but you see the softer side in her, and you see other characters that from the first book that you meet in the second book, and that's brilliant. The fact that it's her husband that does the talking and narrates, it's brilliant. I really love this book, and this is this is my joint favourite of the month with the book called The Liar, which is a thriller. So can you believe it? I've got a thriller as my favourite, but this has to go up there as joint favourite in my opinion, because this is brilliant. And then the last book I've got to quickly mention to you is The West Witch. Had to read a kid's book, needed it to cheer me up, but yeah, this is 5 stars as well. So that's it, guys. Had a bit of an interesting month. Not the best book-wise, but I'm looking forward to March even more. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling. And I'll see you all next week, or next day. Bye-bye.